Hi, I'm Dan O'Malley from Cisco, and I'm here with Rick, the radio guy.
Hey, Dan.
So what's new in the world of Cisco Instant Connect?
I'm glad you asked, Dan. We're up to Cisco Instant Connect version 4.9 now available on Cisco.com. And we've added quite a few new features. A lot of it focused around our mobile client and the ability for people to bring their own devices. The Android client, of course, has expanded. But we've also added some great new features for the users in the Instant Connect application itself.
Well, that's great. And obviously, we take radios and various different devices, bring them over to the internet so everyone can communicate on the same work group. Why don't we start with the dispatch console, and what are the new features on the dispatch console?
Okay, well, let me show you. One of the big things that people have asked for is the ability to know who's on the channel, who is on the system with me. So we've added this tab over here called Active Users, and I can see I've got my Dan, my Eric, and my Rick on here, and I can even tell that they're Android users. And Dan, had you bought me that iPhone 6, I would see our iOS client user here also.
Well, very good. There's another thing that we always get feedback from our customers is when there's a dispatch environment where they're next to each other. So
yes, well, obviously, if you and I are standing right here next to each other, I hear you in this ear, but if you come out of the radio, say 30 milliseconds later, that kind of makes me go a little nuts. So what we've added is the ability to do what we call cross-mute groups. Let me target, we also added photos for our contact list and a splash screen, so we can talk about that later. But in cross-mute groups, we go right over here to our IDC management, and I've defined a cross-mute group here called North Corner. I can put all the folks in the North Corner into this one group, and now, if I can hear your voice, I don't have to hear you coming out the radio at the same time. Now, the folks on the south end of the building, they'll still hear you, and that's new in 4.9.
Well, that's great. I know we've added a lot of mobile features, and we'll change gears onto the mobile client. Here. It's a nice little IP68 and IP69 rated device from Sonum. Has a push-to-talk button on the side. And customers have asked us to do private calling, so you're on your group, you're squeezing your button, you're doing a push-to-talk call. But sometimes they want to make an individual private call. So we've added the ability to look at a contacts directory, as Rick mentioned before, and I can find Rick and call his subscriber or his smart device personally, and then we get on a brand new private line. So that's one of the things.
But at the same time, we've still retained the ability to talk to our classic IP79 series phones, our IP wireless phones, the VHF, UHF radios, all those things that people have done before. We've just really expanded it and added a lot more functionality into the Android key.
That's right. And you also mentioned the user presence. You have those screens now on the smart devices where you can see who's on your channel. You push your button, you know who's going to hear you. We also added what's called scan. So sometimes you need to listen to more than one work team at a time. Okay. So you can get up to 10 talk lines onto one scan group. And the last group that talks, you squeeze your button or you push your green button and you go back to that group.
Not only scan, but broadcast. And you know what? We should actually do a wonderful separate set of videos for scan, broadcast, and priority. And we ought to do that next, Dan.
That is a great segue, and we'll also throw in some talker priority. So that's Cisco Instant Connect 4.9. Thanks for watching.